Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with free horse racing tips for Wednesday the 25th of September. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, folks, it's Redcar Races, one of my favourite times and tracks. So I'm going to get straight into it, pretty much. So, as you're well aware, regulars of the channel are aware that there is a draw bias at Redcar. So on the straight track, the horses head normally towards the far side where it is normally quicker ground. The reason why it is quicker ground is something to do with the drainage, but also the fact that there is a car that follows the runners in behind that's actually treading down the track. So they're actually they're creating the draw bias themselves. So I welcome all new subscribers. Hopefully this is going to be a profitable bet for you. It's been a really disappointing, shocking last two bets. I don't think we've got a single one placed, even fancied horses, not even big priced ones. So what I will say is, I hope to do it from the first race. So what I've done is I've picked an each way lucky 31. Well, I haven't placed the bet yet. No reason behind it. I've just started the video and I'm going to talk you through it. Then I'm going to place the bet. And I've also had, or going to have, 3 forecasts, reverse forecasts and tricasts. And I've picked 4 horses, and I think it's in 3 different races. And I shall talk you through that anyway very shortly. So, just give me a second. So, on the straight track, ideally, you need to race prominently. So what I expect is, and I hope it happens from the first race. So in the past, sometimes they don't always cotton on with the draw. So last meeting, I had a David Allen selection that one of his mounts later on in the day, he went straight towards the far side, made a complete beeline for it. Earlier on in the day on the same race card, I'd got a horse that was drawn 1, and what it did, it broke fine. It restrained the horse, and all of a sudden it was last on the rail. I think there was like 13 or 14 runners, and then angled to the wide outside towards the slower ground to make some headway. It was like there are going to be horses, even though there's a draw bias, that are being set up for a different day. And this isn't me making excuses for the selections that I make. I tipped a horse that day that was, I think it was his 3rd run, and I was hoping it would take advantage of the draw, but it was still after that decent handicap mark by not finishing prominent, not being in the places. So let me get on to Wednesday's selection. So I do like the look of these. I would like to tell you I've got an absolute banker, but I haven't. I've got 2 I really like and 3 that I do like the look of. And I'm going to talk you through them now. So just give me 1 second. So the first selection, as you can see, in fact, let me just get my glasses on. I'm very well prepared for this video, as always, just going through the cupboards. So if you can let me know if you do fancy anything in the comments, just while I'm putting my glasses on. I don't even wear glasses, it's just that I can't see all of a sudden. So let me get into it. So the first selection is I Need Your Love at 10 to 1 in a 10 past 2 at Redcar, and they're paying 5 places instead of 3. I do recommend trying to put this on with Sky Bet because I need all the luck there is at the moment, so extra places definitely helps. So this horse, I believe it's got a first-time visor in this race. Just give me 1 second and I'm going to talk you through. So in the 210, like I said, I've gone for I Need Your Love. And yes, it's got the first-time visor. It's got Billy Garrity on board. It's currently 10 to 1. It's 14s in the racing post. I do think the Easter bids have got some chances with some horses on Wednesday. But what I must say is, in the 10 past 2 at Redcar, you've got the favourite, Satar, which has got an obvious chance. And I wouldn't change anybody's mind about that horse. It's got a decent drawing too. Callum Rodriguez could also have a good day. And I'm also looking at another jockey, Sylvester de Souza, who could also have a decent day. So you've got the first and second favourites, Satar and Fallen Soldier, drawn 2 and 5. That's perfectly adequate for those. Gives them a chance. Our selection, I Need Your Love, is drawn 4. Like I said, it's first time visor. Its most recent runs, it ran at Carlisle after an 85-day break, first time blinkers. It ran a decent race. In fact, it ran its joint best Racing Post rating so far. It took a keen hold, raced in second, lost position over 2 out, disputing third inside final furlong, no extra. So you can fully expect that, understand that. Carlisle on soft ground, took a keen hold in blinkers, so it would definitely have done too much too soon. Redcar is not Carlisle, so if it can go straight to that far side, hopefully the visor G's it up. It goes straight to the far side where it's probably whatever it's described as tomorrow, which is probably good ground. You might get a heading towards good to firm under that rail, or maybe not quite good to firm. So if you can go straight for that rail, I would be quite confident that this horse will be on quicker ground. Please bear in mind that as the race meeting goes on, sometimes there can be a boil over. So what happens is they all make a beeline over for that far side, only to take each other on too early. That could happen towards the end of the day. We've got a big 17-runner field over, I think it's 5 furlongs. But obviously, I'm sticking with the draw and sticking with what I say. So yeah, as I said, I Need Your Love at 10 to 1 in the 10 past 2 at Redcar, paying 5 places instead of 3. The second selection is over a mile and 2, but I just can't ignore this horse because it's doing me head in. The horse is called Eeetee at 12 to 1 in the 3:55 at Redcar. This horse has never beaten far. Well, I think I tipped this horse last time when it ran at Redcar. It was sat on the rail on the inside and could not get a run for anybody's money. Probably the same is going to happen again, but I do think it's got a decent chance. Doesn't really matter what it's drawn, but I believe it's drawn low because it doesn't matter because they're going round a bend anyway. But it needs to be tucked away, probably no worse than 4th, on the rail, then hopefully manoeuvred out and can fly at the finish. But in my opinion, 12 to 1 is far too big. The third selection is Powerful Response. This is in the 4:32 at Redcar, paying 4 places instead of 3. It's currently 15 to 2, and I think that's a decent price because a lot of the time when we're back in these low numbers, even though this is over a mile and 2, we tend to find that when we've got the advantage, they will slash the prices the next day. Well, the last 2 I'm giving, this current horse and the one before it, Eeetee, they won't take advantage of the draw because it's over a mile and 2, so they're going round a bend. But Powerful Response, its last run, it ran a decent race at Doncaster. They describe the ground as good tomorrow at Redcar. I think it's probably good to soft in places or something like that. So Doncaster, it ran a decent race in a Class 4 race. It actually ran behind Liberty Coach, which was also the favourite in I think in the next race or one of the races, Liberty Coach is a favourite. It was keen that day on soft ground. It's ran well on good ground. It's in the past ran well on slower ground as well. It's got Sylvester de Souza on board. What I do find probably more interesting is that Sylvester de Souza rode it last time as well. So I find that interesting. Yeah, it's coming to this meeting, but obviously I'm guessing he would have had the choice of several horses, but he's got this selection. It had a break. This is its 3rd run. Well, this will be its 4th run back, but it had a 53-day break. It was running up to May. It was running. It didn't. Its most disappointing run was last time on the 25th of May when it ran at Haydock over a mile and 4. Personally, it's had 3 runs over a mile and 4, and I don't think it enjoyed itself on any of those. I think it wants a mile and 1 or a mile and 2, and tomorrow's distance is a mile and 2 at Redcar. Just going back to last year, Edward Bethel trained this horse, and this horse ran on this card last year on the 19th of September. He ran in a Class 5 over a mile, and it was only beaten 2 lengths by Poet's Dawn. Don't get me wrong, it's over an extra 2 furlong tomorrow, and also it's £5 lower than this time last year, albeit this time last year was a different race. It was a mile race compared to this a mile and 2 race. So the next selection is probably the nap of the day, but the price is a bit stingy. And to be fair, there's 2 I fancy in the race, but I backed this horse last time, and I didn't realise it did. And it doesn't say on the Racing Post commentary, but this horse stumbled at the start at Beverley, and it still ran an absolute cracker. I don't know if some of you may remember it, but the horse is Miss Brazen at 5-1 in the 5 past 5 at Redcar, paying 4 places instead of 3. Once again, it's Michael and David Easterby. Miss Brazen, I think it's Joanna Mason on board. Just give me 1 second. So it's a 5 furlong race, there's 13 runners, it's currently good ground. Miss Brazen is drawn 5. So I will be having a reverse forecast and tricast in this race. Need to bear in mind that I think this is the reason why it's one of my, well, not one of, my nap of the day, although it's a competitive race. You've got the favourite, which is in stall 7. I don't know if that will remain the favourite, but it's in decent form. It's called Maris Angel. They've then got Miss Brazen at 5-1, stall 5. The next 3 in the betting, so bearing in mind Miss Brazen is 5-1, is Soul Seeker at 11-2. Sound Reason at Soul Seeker at 11-2, Sound Reason at 10-1, and Castan at 12-1. Those horses for 13 runners are drawn 11, well, not these aren't respectively 11, 12, and 13. Doesn't mean these high numbers on the straight course doesn't mean they can't win, but it means they need to put up a big performance to even be competitive, because I'm expecting that draw bias to take hold, especially when that car keeps driving over that damp section on the far side. Miss Brazen, I think it's got a cracking chance. There is another one in the race, and it's My Danger. And you know what happens when I mention dangers? The danger seems to win. The danger for me, for Miss Brazen, is Glory Fighter, and it's that legend of a trainer, Paul Midgley. So, and just to make things even more awkward, Paul Midgley's got another one in it. Another danger, but bear in mind, all these dangers, I've got them in the forecast and tricast. So I shall read them out at the end of the video, but I shall also put them in the description and the first comment. So another danger, which is very interesting, is Project Dante, which is it's running some decent races in the past, but it kind of lost its way. Well, it's drawn 1, it showed loads of speed recently, but it's weakened quite quickly. I'm thinking if it gets that rail, it could be difficult to pass, and it's actually 25-1, which is quite interesting. So the final selection is another one that's got a decent chance based on the draw. So the next selection is Codebreaker at 11-2 in the 5:40 at Redcar, paying 6 places instead of 4. What I will say is the horses that I fancy the most, like Codebreaker, Miss Brazen, well, let's just say the last 2, Miss Brazen and Codebreaker, they're probably the strongest fancies that I've gone for. However, I'm disappointed in the prices. Maybe they might drift, but what you do tend to find is when we've got the draw advantage, the value is normally the night before Sky Bet have actually woke up to what they keep doing every single meeting. So Codebreaker at 11-2 in the 5:40 at Redcar, paying 6 places instead of 4. So I've had a forecast and tricast here because I also think it's going to be a bit tricky, because there are a number of runners. There are a number of horses. There are a number of trainers with more than one horse in this race. You've got Michael Harrington that's got 2. You've got Tim Easterby that's got at least 2. I think there's another trainer as well. But anyway, forgetting that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky race. So I've gone for Codebreaker because it will be up there with the pace. It's drawn 3. Another one that's interesting is Ratafia, that's also trained by Michael Harrington as well as Codebreaker. Ratafia loves soft ground. My concern for Ratafia is it could be out with the washing earlier on, and you're not going to want that because normally it's held up. Well, trying to weave your way round, trying to weave your way through the pack when there's how many runners? There's 17 runners over 7 furlongs. You're going to get in each other's way. If you're coming from the back, don't get wrong, it's in decent form and it does love soft ground, Ratafia does. I think it'll just have too much to do. So what do you do if you can't go through horses? You go to the wide outside. The problem is when you go to the wide outside, you're heading towards a slower ground. So, yeah, Codebreaker, I think it's got a cracking chance. I also like the looks of Alfie Boy, Angel of the Bay, and also put myself on spot now. In fact, I've actually gone for Ratafia in the forecast and tricast because I know it'll be flying at the finish. So I'm quickly going to mention the forecast and tricast. I don't know what stake I'm going to have, but I'll normally have. So I've picked 4 selections in 3 races. So what I'll do is I'll have a reverse forecast and a combination tricast, or combination both, whatever you want to call it. They're in the 140, the 5 past 5, and the 540. So in the 140 at Redcar, these are horse numbers, not stall numbers. So these are the numbers of the horse that you need in your bet. So in the 140 at Redcar, horses 3, 5, 7, 10. All these are based on low numbers. In the 5 past 5 at Redcar, I have gone for horses 3, 4, 7 and 11. And finally, in the 540 at Redcar, I've gone for horses 5, 8, 9 and 12. And those are race card numbers that you'll need for your bet. Generally, they are low drawn horses. So if you can do me a favour, it's been a long-winded video. I hope you're still here. I hope you have a profitable day. If you fancy a horse or you think that I am completely wrong with the draw bias, please let me know. I don't mind. If you could leave me a comment, a like, a subscribe, I really appreciate it. Fingers crossed that this Redcar draw bias works out. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.